again, welcome you guys here, and we are so excited that you guys are here too. Thank you for being here. We really are excited about sharing these things and also getting to know you guys a little bit better. I'm Marla, and this is Jamie, and we have been doing this for a lot of years. We joke about being, since the dinosaurs, since 1995. So it's been a minute since we started doing this. Um, would you guys like to share your love story in the chat? You guys obviously met online, and how did that happen? How did you guys end up? I mean, it's maybe a lot to type, so just pop in. What is it that you? How about this? What is it that you fell in love with the other person about?
Hmm.
For Jamie and I, we actually met through friends, and we were only 18 when we met, and neither one of us were thinking that we would probably get married for a long time.
Yeah,
And
was not on the horizon.
no, it wasn't on the horizon, and well, here we are.
Yes.
So obviously the name of this is Rediscover Romance. And so we want to help couples rediscover that connection and that intimacy with each other. And I'm going to change this view here. And so is okay, let's see. There, yes, we're going to have a replay, and no worries. We totally understand. Timing is very interesting with these kinds of things, trying to make sure we get it right. You got the kids. What we'll make sure is that you guys get the replay. That's not a problem. We'll go through the information, and you guys will get probably a copy of the link as soon as we get that. So be present as much as you can. We totally understand, but we're so excited that you guys are here. So generally when people are attending these events that we have, they're looking for something. And obviously Rediscover Romance, there's the romance piece, re-engaging that romance. What does that look like? Almost, I would say, what do you think? 100% of people are looking for better communication. That seems to be a really important one, and we get it.
And you're at the right, if you're looking for that, you're in the right place. That's what we do. We teach people how to
Yep.
communicate, how to get that love back that you had in the very beginning of your relationship.
Yeah, those butterfly feelings that maybe you experienced at the beginning. What does that look like to have that and to grow that as you keep turning towards each other? And it's just what you need. So perfect. You're in the right place.
That's right. Exactly.
All right. So the important thing is we just want to welcome you to Rediscover Romance, and we are excited about what we can learn from even you guys too. So
That's right. So it is really vital if you're looking for communication skills for getting that fire back in your relationship. It's vital that you're here. It means you're looking for the right things, so that and you're investing your time in a good way to, build up your relationship. Did you know that how your relationship is going is the number one indicator of your future success?
mm,
It makes all the difference. If you're happy here, you can be happy everywhere. Excuse me. That was everywhere.
that was everywhere. So we will be interactive, and we understand you guys that you have kids, so that no worries at all. We're not gonna expect you to be here in the entire part of this, but also, so it's going to be interactive. It's going to be a non-judgment zone. No judgment here.
Even if your voice cracks and you can't speak for a second.
And what we want is we want to shift your relationship perspective, because conflicts and tensions are things that as couples we are going to face. And we always talk about this, that it's really not about problems to be solved. Certainly there are problems that need to be solved. Most of the time though, in relationship, it's tensions to be managed rather than problems to be solved. and welcome, Charity. We are so excited that you're here. And
You,
if you'd like to go ahead.
if you like to type in your partner's name and maybe what you were excited about when you met them or how you met, that'd be great to know. We'd love to know that about you
Yeah, we have
as we move forward.
we have Joe and Stacy here, and they met online. So, and Jamie and I were talking about we met through mutual friends when we were 18, and there was no expectation of ever having. We were like, we're getting married. That was a long ways in the future, and here we sit. So, so we're going to be interactive. It's a no judgment zone. The shifting of the relationship perspective, and what effects will this have on your relationship? Number one, a deeper awareness of why you chose each other. Number two, an understanding of how your thinking styles affect how you manage conflict. Huge. That was so huge for Jamie and I. So let us tell you guys a little bit about us. We are Jami and Marla again. I grew up in Arizona. Jamie grew up in California. We met in 1987 and fell in love. Pretty, I think it was kind of a love at first sight type situation. And we moved to Boise about 18 years ago, and we have two daughters, Ariel and Kayla, and we have a son-in-law, Preston. Ariel and Preston are married, and we have two grandchildren who are 3 and 5 years old, and they definitely are the joy of our lives, and they keep us very busy. We very much love having them. We get to see them every week, and we're very excited about that. We love going there. We have a green belt along the river here. We love going on walks on the green belt. We like walking downtown. We're close to downtown Boise, Idaho. We love going to the beach, romantic dinners, building community, building connections, puzzles, yoga, road trips, great wine and beer, paddleboarding, traveling around the world, movies, television. We just love adventuring. And our personal passion mission is healthy and happy. Our relationship is healthy and happy. And then offering that to other couples. That is really the most important center of communities, is happy couples, happy families. And professionally, we were trained as coaches, mentors, and facilitators back in 1995 for a program called Life Skills International. And about the third day in, I was like, I'm doing this because I'm altruistically going to help other people because my family was perfect. And Jamie's family is clearly dysfunctional. So hopefully he'll learn a few things along the way.
Volunteering for that position. Yeah, we knew that.
And real quick, Charity, you guys have been married for 38 years.
33 years.
I'm sorry, 33 years, eyes, to Wade. So Wade and Charity, so
Fantastic.
great you guys are here. And at 33 years, you guys, great. We've been married together for 37 years. So
33 is, probably a little longer than most of our clients. We get a lot of 25 to 30 years married. So congratulations on 33 years. That's awesome.
Well, and I see that you're separated too, and you're in the right place. This says, something that we have the reason we do what we do is because we have been there, and we want to share that it's fixable.
Absolutely. It's fixable. And not only that, but your 33 years they're the most valuable investment you've ever made. Let's take advantage of those years.
Yeah.
Right. Let's make it count.
Definitely. So we found that coaching and mentoring was our best direction to go. And we're getting close to about 4,000 couples that we have helped. And we have a 97% success rate, not only just keeping couples together, including those who've been divorced and separated, but happier and more connected than they've ever been before. We have been recognized in places like LA Weekly. We're in the top 5 relationship coaches to watch last year. We were chosen by the producers of Leap, Leap the coaching movie, not Leap the Disney movie.
Very it's animated. We're not in that
very
one.
different.
No.
And we're among the top 1% of coaches in the world. Along with, in that movie, we were with Jack Canfield, John Gray, and Markham Benita Thompson. So all names that are very familiar to people. We were very, very blessed and very fortunate to be a part of that. that whole circumstance, that whole thing.
Well, as Marla mentioned, we were 27 and with two kids um, under 6, very active in our community, leading, in our community area. Um, and we were way over our heads. At least I was way over my head. Marla probably could have handled it fine. As we mentioned, I came from that difficult family. And
So when you're 27, you think you can do anything.
so I was hurting and insecure and I was reeling from my childhood abuse. And I had no idea that you would even call it abuse. It was just normal to me. And so um, I wasn't being honest with Marla. I was actually having infidelity and being unfaithful to her. And I didn't understand why or why that would be, why I would ever do that. Um, Even with this, our sex life and was active and extremely satisfying for me, although we didn't know till later that it really wasn't all that satisfying for Marla.
We
Um,
meaning him.
Me, yeah, I didn't have a clue, right? I was out of the loop on
Well,
that.
to be fair, he was my one and only, so I just thought it was sex was stupid, and I don't, and why did everybody love it? But realizing that I was missing out on something very important to our relationship. So
Absolutely. So, we were in serious danger because I wasn't being vulnerable. I was distant a lot. I worked a lot. I avoided things with Marla a lot of the times. I was really kind of more interested in going mountain bike riding because that was where my, you know, therapy was, and it wasn't very helpful.
oh yeah, real quick, welcome Mark, and if you would add in the chat, you and your, I mean, what your partner's name is, and how you guys met actually, and maybe how long you've been together. A few people have mentioned that as well. So back to the story. In 1999, I was absolutely devastated, heartbroken, heart crushed to discover that our little fairy tale love was actually not what I thought it was. And at that point, I had to make the decision whether to get a divorce. At the time, our daughters were very young. And of course, I loved Jamie and I wanted our family to stay together. But at that point, I just wasn't sure what to do. And I was lost and my heart was shattered. And this was the love of my life, the one person that I believed would never ever hurt me or betray me, which is, or nor disappoint me. And we all get disappointed, right? Because I did love Jamie and I did love the kids and I love our family, I chose that to stay together as opposed to um, choose divorce. And that was a
Well,
really difficult decision, but the very best decision that I could have ever made. Yeah.
it is the most satisfying thing in the world to be able to achieve that, to get past those difficult times, and to be as connected as we are. It really is. And if we can do it, anybody can do it.
It was a journey truly of devouring books and healing from this very, very painful betrayal and going to counseling 2 hours a week, 2 times a week. Tell her 3 weeks in, our counselor said, well, you guys do everything I asked you to do. Here's a book. Let me see what I got going on here. Okay. and and we created this after massive amounts of research and different things. We created this system that we realized was important to share with other people. So we started sharing that over 29 years ago, and it's been refined. We've got a lot of neuro science that we've added to it as the science has caught up really to the things that we were teaching back in the 90s. And what we know for sure is that it transforms legacies of loss into legacies of love. And that is really very powerful. And Mark and Jennifer,
Welcome.
welcome. We're so
And we get it.
happy
This
to,
situation can be tough.
yeah.
We've seen it all. We've been through most of it, and that's what we're saying here, right?
Yeah.
So not only where every couple experiences tensions, frustrations, and most experience hurt and confusion because it feels like they must be doing this on purpose, right? They must be trying to hurt me, and that's almost never true. There's lots of confusion, lots of hurt involved, and therefore people don't always react very well.
Well, and resentment is a killer.
That's right. And resentment, if you're hanging on to that, it really is terrible for everybody. And resentment is the number one relationship killer. So we choose a different model than traditional counseling. We are coaches and mentors. We choose mentoring because it allows us to demonstrate the skills that are absolutely necessary to have a healthy marriage. And we customize those tools that we teach for each couple that goes through this process so that we demonstrate the way that they're going to be using the tools, right? It's very customized, it's very connected, and there's something about the way we are meant to learn from other people that we almost need an example in order to carry out what is really going to be successful in our relationship. So we want to give you a concept here, and we call this first concept the key dagger. It's a vital concept to understand in every relationship. And that is that you chose the person that you're with, or maybe separated from right now, for a very specific reason. Um,
Okay.
yeah, okay.
All right. Well, thank you,
We,
Mark.
we
Yeah.
get that. And are you together with your partner? You wouldn't mind saying, I mean, I would usually, or are you separated? That kind of thing would be helpful to know. So we can cater this to you. But this key dagger concept is a key. So you choose someone that has the key to your heart. Turns out that you choose someone within 5 points of IQ. Otherwise, you would not be interested in your partner. If they were a lot smarter or a lot less smart than you, they wouldn't be that kind of connected. You wouldn't be able to have the kind of conversations you need to have. But also, you choose someone with a matching emotional issue. And this is metadata science that is rock solid. You choose someone with a matching emotional issue. It's kind of like we call it, we make jokes about this. And Marla had a brain surgery 6 years ago now. And so we say it's the holes in her head match the rocks in his, because I obviously had rocks in my head. And so,
It's the blind spots
and
between
Marla
us.
literally has a hole in her head. So an extra
Well, I
one.
mean, it's it's all good. Everything's healed and everything.
She had an easy brain surgery according to the surgeon, so that was really lucky. But really, that matching issue is just such an important thing. You might get to know this. You might have heard of like anxious attachment or avoidant attachment. Well, there's this thing called control abandonment that is inside that key dagger. And we tend to either control or abandon. We always have one that's our favorite, one that we go to more often, but we all do both, right? When it's convenient or necessary, we switch. And understanding that control abandonment cycle is something that we're going to talk a little more about tonight, but it is something that we all do. So it ends up Marla's the identified controller, so she controls. I tend to run away. I'm the abandoner, right? The avoidant attacher. Marla's the anxious attacher, right? But then sometimes I'll turn and flip and be the control, could use control, and then it's control. We're fighting, right? And then maybe she goes, maybe I go. Once we both go, it's abandon. When you understand this control abandonment cycle and how you do it inside your relationship, everything changes.
Yeah, yeah. So managing the tensions is also discovering what those blind spots are. You could be married for, we've actually, one of our longest married couples, they were, at the time, they had been married like 52 years. And so, we've worked with couples who've been together for a really long time. Jamie and I've been together, like I said, for 37 years. And we've been through these things, so we understand what healing takes, and we've worked with so many couples. And so one of the other concepts that we think what is really, really powerful is that in every relationship, sometimes the couple flips back and forth between these, but in every relationship we have, as a general rule, one person who is a linear thinker, the linear thinker is the person who is we're talking about something here right now today that happened back here. Why in the world are we having a conversation about that again? And then you have the infinity thinker. The infinity thinker says what happened in my past is happening in my present and will always happen in my future. And so the infinity thinker is trying to clean up these things from the past. And when they bring them up, I'm the infinity thinker. Jamie's the linear thinker. So in the past, when I bring them up, his linear thinking was okay, well, I have my relationship box, I have my sports box, I have my work box, I have my family box, I have my friends box, I have my whatever box, all the boxes. And he put things neatly into his box. Sometimes those boxes he never wanted to open them again, and others of the boxes he could access when he needed to. So for him, if I brought something up from our past of betrayal and I was hurting, because there are things called anniversary memory, calendar memory, where time of year and you start to feel sad or you start to feel heartbroken, you don't know what's going on. And then maybe you think, oh, it's that time of year. And I didn't approach it well for at the beginning, but I learned how to just let Jamie know, hey, right now I'm experiencing some calendar memory, and I need you to know that I'm feeling sad and I'm feeling very tender today, even though, we've gone through the whole forgiveness thing and move forward. And Jamie, he learned, instead of saying, why are we talking about it today? We've already processed it. Again, we have to talk about this again.
It feels, you feel guilt, right? So
Yeah.
yes, that happened, but we've worked through it. So, you feel reashamed, re-guilted by the conversation. But that's really a sign that we haven't really resolved it for ourselves,
Mhm.
and then we're not feeling confident about that. So then we shut down our partner, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to, I'm going to box this out. I'm going to go do my linear thing and go another box, right?
Or get
Or
defensive
get defensive,
and blame shift or whatever.
or escalate the argument or fight into something that it wasn't really about.
Yeah.
That's pretty common and easy to avoid once you understand these basic concepts.
Something really very simple, but it's really difficult to do in the moment because of trigger points and things like that, is now or any time that, because it's been quite a long time. But if a calendar memory pops up, I'm able to actually say that to Jamie, hey, I'm experiencing calendar memory. But let's just say that I'm having a rough day and I'm really struggling, and I don't bring it to Jamie well. He has been so great to be able to answer me and say, I hear you, that's true, that happened, and I'm living my amends, and I'm truthful and faithful, I'm all in, I'm here. And that, just that by itself without defensiveness, was so huge for me, that it was such a powerful thing. So when you're thinking about linear and infinity, what do you think that your thinking style might be? Are you more linear, where it's like what happened in the past, it's there, we're here now, why are we talking about it? Or are you kind of the infinity thinker, that sometimes things come up and you haven't really either really processed them, or you don't really know how to have a better conversation around it so that you can process it well. So all those aspects, linear and infinity thinking, really make a difference in how you can resolve the tensions and the issues. And then we also find that the linear thinker is more like the avoidant attacher, and the infinity thinker is more like the my brain just went anxious attachment.
Anxious, yeah.
It's oh, I'm so sorry, Mark. You know what? We're happy that you're here and that you're safe. And that we're just happy that you're here. Um, okay, so the linear versus infinity thinker, think about that, because it really can
Well,
play a
go ahead
huge
and
part
type
in the
type in the
relationship.
chat, which one you identify with. Do you already see which one you are, or maybe which one your partner is? That's sometimes really powerful information. Um, so
So, okay, so we have couples who have struggled with the linear and infinity thinking, and just like with Jamie and I, showing them how Jamie and I process through those old trigger points, and then them practicing it. We have a couple, Jeff and Molly, who triggered by past memories and just having a really hard time and really wanting to feel heard and understood, and not feeling that from Jeff. And then Jeff learning how to speak to it and not take it personally that she's hurting. I think that's one of the biggest things that's hard. And that choosing that started to change the relationship, and Molly felt safe to share and safe to be able to really be in that space and allow have Jeff see her heart hurting, and then go and say, okay, now let's have a better conversation, let's heal forward through this.
Right. So we told you what our life was like in the 90s. We were busy. We were, um, really hard at it. Um, does anybody have any questions before I go into this next section? I went ahead a little bit. If there's any questions, please type them in anytime during the
Yeah,
seminar tonight.
yeah, you're absolutely, we'll keep an eye on the chat
That's right.
if you have any questions along the way.
So, I was the guy who betrayed my wife. I was the guy who was texting someone else. I was feeling guilty, um, and responding to Marla with blame and defensiveness. Um, I could make her wrong for ever asking anything that might have been pertinent to what was really going on. That was one of the things that, I learned to do as a kid, make everybody else wrong and don't take any accountability, right? So what we want to say here is it doesn't matter if you're on the verge of divorce. It doesn't matter if you're separated and frustrated and mad at each other right now. That's actually if it's you're angry with each other, that's actually a good thing. And we can work with that. It doesn't matter if you're fighting all the time. Again, that's actually kind of a good thing in our book. There's something to fight about. There's passion in that, right? If you're not talking, because it can take weeks to cool off. We get that too. And that's also, there's still fire there, right? If you feel like roommates, but you had love before, we can fix that. No problem at all. If you seem like you're stuck resenting something that your partner did or said or didn't do, again, resentment is powerful and we can help you with that and get that right out of in between you. And no matter where you are at today, it really doesn't matter. What matters is that if you're willing to do the work, if you're willing to do the work to make your relationship work, everything is fixable.
What we know is that marriages and relationships are in really big trouble right now, and the statistics are actually quite staggering and sad. 50 to, most of you probably know this, 52% of marriages fail, but that doesn't include the relationship that aren't married. There aren't statistics around those particular ones. And what they can guess is that they, meaning statisticians, is that it's closer to about 82% of relationships are failing. That's huge, guys. The stats also don't include relationships that are still together but very unhappy. In the states that have fault divorces, 78% of divorces are connected to social media. We see that as a huge factor in relationships today, where even science is showing that people are going to start or have already started getting their dopamine from their device rather than from their partner. Counseling has a 55 to 75% failure rate for relationships, and oftentimes racks up an average for the amount of counseling that it takes, an average of $30,000 in counseling bills. And even people who have copay, we have clients, so many clients that come to us that have been to counseling 3, 5, 10 years. They've been to counseling, different counselors, and they come to us, and within 3 weeks they say, wow, I've never heard that before, or this is, everything has changed so drastically even just in these short 3 weeks. We are short term for long term results. That is the promise that we can give you. Counseling is great. There are some fantastic counselors out there, so don't get us wrong. It's just that oftentimes with couples, it's a much different kind of situation. Many couples that have been to counseling have told us that they're still struggling with getting along and not feeling happy, because it's,
Even with basic communication.
yeah, it's kind of a he said, she said kind of a situation in those scenarios. And what couples are doing is not sustainable right now. It's not sustainable. So, how many of you feel like you've learned something already tonight that could help your relationship? And then we have Charity has a question. You
Okay,
can read
yeah,
that.
yeah. So how if you can forgive and the other person continues to harm and
Mhm.
has substance issues, do you even begin to fix the damage? Okay. Well, obviously it's complicated, right? It's not an easy short answer. But what we can say is that by doing the work yourself, starting with you, right? In that situation, and there's harm still happening, you need to get that safety, right? You need to make sure that that is stopped right away. So we can give you tools right away for boundaries for like to keep the harm from happening. Substance abuse is a very tricky situation. If that person is not willing to work on that substance abuse, then that's another big problem. We don't know what that factor is for you. If they are willing to do the work, then getting them started probably separately, right? We can do some separate work in order to get people ready to come together to work, making sure that that person is safe, right? That's how we would approach that, building your strength, getting them into recovery, using these tools along the way. And we have seen that turn around in just a matter of weeks with people, as long as they are willing to get started on their recovery with their chemicals, whatever's going on with that. Always important to have that taken care of along with what we're doing.
Yeah, yeah,
So we can definitely talk about that more individually so that you can understand how that system would work for you.
yeah. Thank you for that question, though.
Really
It's
great
really
question.
important.
That's the kind of thing that we swim in this stuff day and night.
All right, so I want to paint a picture for you of what happens, and if a couple of you here understand this very well, what happens if we don't fix this problem with relationships? Communication, connection, and intimacy within relationships will continue to erode and breaking up more and more families. And eventually, communities break down when families have broken down. Blind spots that are brought into the relationship from childhood will create more and more tension and inevitably resentment in relationships, and will become more and more frequent. Our unhealthy patterns get passed off as normal and end up affecting our kids, and then getting passed down generation to generation again and again. And couples will continue to have years of dissatisfaction and loneliness and unhappiness. That is 100% avoidable with the right tools. And Jamie, he brought up a really great point. It truly does not matter. It does not matter where your relationship is at. What matters is what you are willing to do about it. And as you guys, it does take two. One person can make a huge difference to shift the tide and release some of that resentment or that disappointment or that hurt or whatever that is, to then the other partner sees that and it says, hey, what are you doing? You seem different. So we've seen that over hundreds and hundreds of times. So just know that it is fixable. It does take that intention, and we just want to give you hope. So how many of you here tonight are committed to making changes in your relationship?
Anybody want to put, okay, one, all right. Good job, Mark. We can do that.
We got you.
We can make changes here.
We've got you. And I know a couple other people listening, they have kids and stuff, so they might have to hear this on the replay.
Right, right. And that's okay.
But
It's
it is beautiful.
It
Thank
is,
you for that
it
commitment.
is, you wouldn't all be here if you didn't want this, right? If you didn't want help in your relationship. So it's beautiful that you're here just by committing to that, right? Wanting that, you're taking a huge first step and getting on the same page, hopefully with your partner with that. Now, if you felt like we've made some progress tonight, imagine what we can do in just 90 days. Okay. So here's a list of things that we can get done in 90 days. And this is real. We can build better communications skills so that feelings are heard, safe to express, and never weaponized. How nice would that be?
Yeah.
Right? If you could really communicate healthfully, that makes a huge difference. We can eradicate blind spots. Now, Marla said, it sounded like to me she said blind splats, which actually might be a better word for what they are. It's like a blind splat. It's not
It's real life right there.
it's not working for you. But see, we eradicate these blind spots that exacerbate shame, right? And everyone has this shame. No one wants to admit it, and there aren't many who are teaching how to heal through it, remove it, and shift the shame and unworthiness into confidence. And that's what we do with all of our clients. We got to figure out how to identify this and move it out of our bodies, move it out of our relationship.
If one person is 100% committed and the other is having issues, and other family member stuff, having opinions, we understand. We've actually been there. Um, yeah, our story is very similar to that, at least in the short description of what you've given us. And Mark, 100% committed on your part. There's a lot that actually you can do. And then also, like I said just a minute ago, offering a different foundation, a different foundation, meaning being able to offer um, that place of connection and healing, to Jennifer, and openness, and actually that releasing of whatever it is, that disappointment or feelings of being inadequate or whatever those things are that come up for you, being able to release those things in a way that, and you have support doing that, and then her seeing something different in you. The other thing is that if you, since you guys are separated, there's also the option for you to ask her to come to, we have opened some slots tomorrow and throughout next week for you guys, for anybody here who would like to have a relationship breakthrough session, inviting her to that you are also welcome to come to that alone. And you and Jamie would meet together with that and talk about what that could look like. So pretty soon I will put the link in the chat, and so that you can go make that appointment, and we'll be there in just a few minutes here.
Right. So when you use our tools, you are going to get emotional and sexual intimacy that are symbiotic and create a growing, um, sustainable, lifelong love. These tools are designed for a forever relationship, right? To take on any problems that may happen inside that relationship. And who wants that, right? Who wants that type of lifelong love that they can count on, and they can count on the communication skills to resolve any problem that you have? Everybody wants that, right? We all want that in our relationship. And the truth is, we just are not in our culture taught the skills that we need to have that. And for those of you that are separated or whatever, if your partner is willing to at least engage with you, then that's all we need. Our statistics move. If both people are not in the process, if one person is, but the other person is willing to engage, at least with them, then we have like an 85% success rate. 85%. That's way higher than any other success rate that we've ever heard of. And we have a 97% success rate with, if both partners are doing the tools. If you're using these, getting trained by us, if both partners are in it, we will fix your relationship. The only 3% that we fail are people that don't do the tools and or never were in love to begin with. Yeah. Which is why we ask in the very beginning of this, how did you fall in love? Because that's an important aspect of your relationship, and your relationship's ability to heal is that you actually had love in your relationship. It took us a lot of years to figure that out. That was a big reason why about half of our people that were failing were not staying together. They couldn't ever say that they had that love experience with each other. So, okay.
All right. So what we know from all of you here is that this is something that you desire. You desire to heal forward in your relationship and have that, basically that relationship of your dreams.
Right. So in that 30-minute session, we're gonna figure out what the core issue is, which doesn't take us very long to figure out. We have a tool for it that makes it very simple. You both will say, "Oh, yeah, that's it." And once we have that, we can start building tools to deal with the pain that maybe that issue has caused, and how to work beyond that damage and heal those hurt places. Mm-hmm. It's it's really the solution. And it's not necessary to do this for years or even months. We get done in 6 months or less. right? We have a 97% success, like I said, a 97% success rate, keeping couples together happier than ever. And I'm going to throw this in right now. I don't know if it's in the script or not, but we offer a money back guarantee. You do this work, you show your work. If you don't get the results that you want in your relationship, now you can't guarantee that your partner will come to the table, but you'll have the breakthroughs that you need to deal with whatever choice they make, right? And we will guarantee that. And for, you get to the end, obviously there's a few little conditions, but if you do the work, we get the results.
Yeah, we have couples, like I said earlier, that even in one session, we have couples who say that they learn more with us in one session than in years of counseling. So who is it for? Couples who are currently struggling and wondering if they're going to make it. I know that we have a few people here in that safe place. Couples who feel like things are okay, but stagnant and are craving deeper connection. And for couples who understand that their marriage and relationship is the most important thing in their life and deserves the highest level of effort, attention, and care. That's who it's for.
And so this 30-minute session is usually a $500 session. We're going to start knocking that price down right now. We're going to start at $250 because you guys have been here tonight with us. The relationship breakthrough session is a laser focused. We don't do the he said, she said. So the whole story it's only 30 minutes, right? So, we can work with the nuts and bolts. We don't have to have, the whole story. If we follow the criteria of this session, we get that 30 minutes. We get hopefully if you're both there, we get you and your partner aligned on moving forward in even some way. Sometimes when you're separated, it's about moving forward, maybe even just to ensure that you have, if it's not going to work out, that you at least leave on good terms, that you don't waste the years that you were together. The relationship that you have continues to be a relationship that you can, you know, even if you don't stay together, you might want to be able to connect. And if you have children, you're always going to be co-parents, right? For as long as that goes. And that never ends, right? These marriages, there's all kinds of things, grandkids, great grandkids, it goes on forever. We have opened up the availability for tomorrow through next week. And spaces are limited for this relationship breakthrough session. That's with me alone. It's the only session that Marla doesn't do. I do this part, so we get everybody on the same page and moving forward into our mentoring process. Obviously, during the session, we don't solve all the issues. We can find the core issue and we can agree on the steps to move forward. And that is really powerful. It's more important than in terms of how things go better once you have those fundamental agreements together. After that, we can decide what type of support you need, and we customize that support and make sure you get everything you need from us to get going. And so let's compare options, right? Let's compare. Traditional therapy, there's a minimum of a 3 to 5 year span of going to therapy every week, usually an hour, sometimes 90 minutes, sometimes twice a week if you're, up for it. You have that could go for years and years, and that costs between $8,000 and $30,000 on average. $30,000 is the average cost that a marriage will put into therapy during their married lives. And don't forget about the time. You're doing that for years and years and years, whereas we are done in 6 months or less, right? We have one program that ends in 4 months, and we get the results in that time. The cost of separation and divorce, $100,000 minimum. You look at dividing up a household and paying rent for an entire year, just the first year after separating. Some of you are already experiencing this, maybe, where you're spending a lot of money just to have 2 separate places to live. That doesn't count dividing the assets. Most divorces with our clients are going to be in the millions, right? You're going to be dividing out. You're going to lose half of your net worth. For those of you that are, so we're going to offer a discount here. We're getting this price down to make this work for anybody. We don't want price to be a barrier. For those of you who want to pay full price, we're more than happy to get you started. We have a concierge program. We'll
We'll
get
take
you
your
right
money.
there. Right. But the first
But we
tip,
want the best thing for
so
you.
if it's for the four of you, the three of you that are here tonight, um, we are going to be sure and we're going to drop the price to free for this 30-minute session. So we freed up this space and we're going to make sure you guys can get it, right? So who, out of curiosity, is anybody down for that free 30-minute session now? From five, imagine right now that I'm handing you 5 $100 bills, right? I'm giving this to you for free. It's $500 off. Is that enough incentive? I hope it is. Um, you can hold your appointment anytime in the next week. So anything between now and next Thursday, well, we'll let that be a free session. And if possible, we need both of you there. Now, like in Mark's case, it may not be possible. Just let me know ahead of time and we can have that meeting, just the two of us. So close your eyes and imagine. Close your eyes and imagine this. Picture your spouse. Okay. Marla's going to take you through a little visualization. It's very cool.
You don't have to close your eyes, but you know, it's helpful sometimes to do that. All right. Picture your spouse truly seeing you, understanding you, and supporting you at your weakest, offering unwavering love that you've always yearned for. Envision their attentive, empathetic presence, intuitively meeting your needs, providing a soothing balm for your wounds and a safe haven of vulnerability. Now, open your eyes. This beautiful daydream isn't a mere fantasy, it's within your reach, actually. Your desire to have this extraordinary love is something that is right here. And Jami and I are actually more than capable of providing that for you. The tools and the skills for you to get to that place, wherever you are in your relationship, you and your spouse, your partner, choosing this path will change your life. If you're still on the fence about the relationship breakthrough session that Jami mentioned, trust your gut. Go ahead and schedule. It's right here on the list here. I'm gonna do a little heart beside it for you. And it's a 30-minute relationship breakthrough session that is $500 value. And what we wanted to offer you guys tonight is we wanted to offer that to you for free. And we have a few spots that are open for you to be able to pop into any of those times that we have on there. Um, trust your gut. Go ahead and schedule. You really truly have nothing to lose. Those you have nothing to lose. So we have some clients that we wanted to tell you about. Bill and Mary. Bill and Mary, they were feeling disconnected and discouraged. They were full of resentment. They felt defeated and angry. They were separated. Mary was completely done. She was tired of being treated like she worked full time and she did everything at home, and she was exhausted and had asked for help, and Bill wasn't available, and and then he felt disconnected because he felt that he had been betrayed by her, and there were all these very disconnecting things in their relationship, and they were deeply heartbroken, both of them, and deeply hurt, and it felt impossible for them. And they started working with us, and within the first 3 sessions Um, we had shown them a few of our blind spot removal tools. We had shared those with them and they had utilized them. And they discovered that so many of the things that they had brought into their relationship from their lifetime, from their childhood, from previous relationships, that were keeping them from being connected and intimate with each other. And they shifted those old life beliefs into powerful new core values. No more distance. They were more emotionally and physically intimate. They had optimal communication and deeper connection. That is what it can look like. And it's pretty powerful. And and Mark, it's yes, it kind of, if it sounds like you, there's so much hope for your relationship, truly. And it's that feeling like you aren't able to get, maybe not back to connection, but really get to a connection that matters and that you feel valued, loved, heard, understood, all those things, right? And so choosing this is so important because you're not going to get back the years that you've already invested in your relationship, as you know, and you're worth it. If you have kids, your kids are worth it. Your grandkids are worth it. Your community is worth it. Your legacy is worth it. We know, I mean, just the gift of our grandchildren and us being able to be together and have that time with them is so powerful. We're so excited to work with you. You'll know how to love, you're gonna love knowing how to communicate with ease. It is a crazy quick communication tool that we use. It's not easy, but it's powerful. And you will love the results that you get that are truly what we have couples report all the time, beyond your wildest dreams.
Yeah, and for those of you that are ready come and do the work, we actually ask, these are the three things that we ask, right? We ask for 15 minutes a day. 5 minutes together, and it can be on the phone or online or in person. Um, 5 minutes together and 10 minutes individually to do some work every day to work towards building that relationship. If you're ready to do that, I cannot wait to talk to you, because if you've had a fall in love experience, you're willing to do the 15 minutes a day, and you're willing to face the hard issues. If somebody stonewalls a hard issue and says, I won't talk about it, that's something, we need to be able to work with that, right? We need to be able to have a conversation around it. It doesn't mean you have to jump into it right that first day. We can build safety around that and get to it. But if those three things, we have nearly a 100% success rate keeping couples together happier than they've ever been, right? And so we'll find in that session, we'll find that core issue, and it'll make so much sense to everybody. Um, I also want to promise this healing journey is not as hard and painful as you might think it to be.
Mm.
It's not, it's not, it's simple, not easy, but it doesn't have to be constant pain, right? A lot of people think that this is going to be torturous. And while there is some pain always
Yeah.
in a relationship, there's no way around that. We find ways to make that work for you so that you can feel safe with your partner moving forward in this.
Yeah.
Um, again, we're not promising that it's easy. We're just going to say that it's worth it, right?
Well, and I'm going to say, as a general rule, if you are unhappy in your relationship, um, that's actually not easy. That's actually incredibly painful, and it's a struggle every single day. It feels that way, and so this isn't easy, but it starts to eliminate that pain.
Right. So, and if you're not there to do, if you're not willing to do the 15 minutes a day, there's no point in scheduling. You have to be able to work on your relationship. You have to be able to do it between the two of you. And then we can coach and mentor you through that. If you're willing to do that, we're ready to go. If you want to ignite your love, deepen your connection, and have more peace, fun, fulfillment, and support in your relationship, that's what we're about. We're here about building coupleships because we know that your marriage, your connection is what the world needs most right now. Starting with that marriage, we can heal families, communities, and eventually the world.
Particularly if you had that falling in love experience, you were in that kind of relationship, maybe you are in that kind of relationship currently where there's love, you just aren't communicating well. There's love, there's love, falling in love with somebody. People talk about falling out of love. You can falling out of love is a really interesting concept. What's more important is that you can fall into a love that is probably different than you ever even thought or imagined could be possible, because we have that, and we've had that for, we started this work in 1995, and we went through a lot of hell along the way, but we've had that kind of relationship that's just growing and growing and growing for the past 29 years, so actually 37 years, with a few blips in the road there.
Well, and what we know is that the lie that passion fades in a marriage over time is a lie. And we know this because we've been together going on 37 years, and we are more passionate today than we were at 19 or 18 when we first met, and 20 when we got married.
Yeah.
We have more passion, more connection today because we use these tools. And again, we don't ask anybody to do anything that we haven't done
Yeah.
because we know this works. We know that this system works. We've done it with nearly 4,000 people, and we'll do it with you and get the results that you need.
Yeah.
Any questions before we move along here? Because we're just about done. We want to honor everybody's time.
Yeah.
We don't want to.
We also want to answer questions that you might have.
Right. Any questions that might be helpful for us to answer? All right. I'm up, but he will not be up for this. That being said, I can only work my part. Honestly, don't know whether to save myself or keep fighting.
Mm.
Well, go ahead and make that appointment.
Yeah.
Even if you're the only one that comes, we can talk about what the deal breakers are and when might be healthy to, you know, what would be healthiest for you,
Yeah.
right? We want you to have the best option moving forward. If you're up to do this work, like I said, with one person doing it, we have about an 85% success. You have, if you go all the way through the process and get all this done, and take our coaching along with you, because you don't do this work and then run to the partner and say, look, I did some work and now it's going to be all better. They need to see the changes in you. They need to see that there's something more powerful, more confident with you.
Well, and there's something really important that we learned along the way. There is that 3% of couples who really, in the case that when we work with them, is that their relationship is toxic and it isn't healthy, and they need to not be married any longer. So that does happen. And so, Charity, for you being able to um, have some tools where you can assess, okay, is this worth keeping fighting for? Or is this something that is toxic for myself and for my kids, if you guys have kids, which I'm kind of assuming you do. Uh, you know, just being able to figure out what you want to do with that, having someone there to help you with that can be very powerful. Somebody that has kind of that 30,000-foot view, that isn't, family or friends who are, really generally wanting to make sure that you're happy. Of course, we want you to be happy too. But we also want to make sure that you're in a relationship, well, that you're choosing to stay in the relationship because there is hope, and it's not remaining toxic. So there's those both sides of that
Well, and the other
equation.
thing that you get when you work with us, and if you need to end the relationship, 3% of relationships need to, break up. What you will know with us is that you have done everything humanly possible to save that relationship in a safe way so that, that you can, if you need to, you can walk away with your head held high, with complete confidence that you have done everything possible that's healthy for you to do. So it's really important to know that the truth is 97% of the time we can get your relationship back on track. That's when both partners are doing it. 85% of the time, if it's just one of you. So since there's a couple of you here tonight that have that potential, let's talk about it more and see what that would look like for you.
Yeah.
And for the two of you that are here together, um, let's get on that meeting and let's figure out what that core issue is so we can figure out the next steps forward for you, no matter where you go
Yeah,
from there.
Stacy and Joe, and I know you had talked about, um, uh, listening to the replay. So if you're listening to this, grab that link and talk to us, because we're one of the, you talked at the beginning of when we were talking about reconnecting, emotionally and physically with each other, becoming, really having that intimate connection that you've desired. That is something that we're really good at, and we can help you with that. So we hope to see you, making that appointment. And Bryant,